and I think I lost. Can you still hear me? That would be optimal.
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfectly, wonderful. All right, now the acoustics are even better for me, so I'm not hearing myself double time. Wonderful. So congratulations for being here with me. I'm happy to lead you through a little course on presentation techniques, which will be a little bit unorthodox, but you will see. So first of all, I'll give you some things not to do, things to avoid. Then I'll talk about the key to a good presentation. And then I'm going to give you the experience of having a bad presentation versus a good presentation on the same topic. And finally, I'm going to give you some take-home points in order so that you can implement all these techniques into your own presentations and have success with it, reach your audience. All right, so let's start with the first topic, because it's probably one of the most important. We as scientists or people of the scientific community, we're always focused on getting people, our audience, excited for our topic. And the problem is we have a very special perspective on things, because we've read and we have studied the fields to such a degree that we've lost connection to reality. And the result of this could be something like this. Okay, now my technical things are not working. So all right. So you see here on this, you see here 4 examples of what you should avoid at any cost during a presentation. So the first, oh, damn it.
I guess it's better when you zoom in. Yes.
Can you still understand and see me? Yeah. All right. I'll just continue. So the first thing to avoid, absolutely, is to write out your own thoughts and to cram your slides with text. As you can tell, while you're trying to read the text on the right, you have absolutely no understanding of what I'm talking. Either you're listening to me or you are reading the text. And this is because our brain is not working on both levels. We only have one intake. Either it's visual or it's audible. So it's only when we see pictures that we can process visuals and auditory. So likewise, it's a bad idea to have something like this as a starting slide or as a results slide, because you are completely overwhelmed with the text and you have absolutely no capacity to listen to anything. And this is on purpose. You just try to read all of it, and I'm just continuing my talk, and you have no sense of what I was trying to show you. So that's a really bad experience for the audience, because it doesn't feel appreciated. So the next thing that you should absolutely avoid is to mix different disciplines of presentation. So I would strongly recommend that either you're using PowerPoint or these these technical types of presentations, or a whiteboard. I would suggest when you're very good at the whiteboard, when you're very good to develop a story on the whiteboard, then just use the whiteboard, because otherwise you will have some switching costs, and this will always distract you, and it will not only distract you, but it will also distract your audience, because they can very much relate to your situation. And this is kind of awkward, right? Just like your peers right now, when they set up the technique and it wasn't completely working, it's not a good feeling for both sides. So the audience feels awkward, you feel awkward. It's really not a good impression for both. And finally, the last thing that you should avoid is to give your audience too much information, which is exemplified here by this straddle. The funnel. So the funnel is the attention of your audience, and if you lose the attention of your audience, you are practically no longer communicating what you want to communicate. So mind the opening funnel, mind the size of the opening funnel of your audience, unless you want to get the nerd medal, for which that would be a very good way to do that. So if you present much data, this is a common misconception in the scientific field, that if you present much data and if you show cramped PowerPoints, which are very complicated, then you're a good presenter. The opposite is the case. The clearer and the simpler your presentation is, the better. Okay, to hop on to that and to go away from the negative side, let me present to you what is the most important thing in order to create a successful presentation. And that is relationships. Unless you build a relationship between you, your topic, and the audience, your presentation won't be successful. So the question now is, why do interaction fail? And you might have noticed I'm using a lot of visual cues. That's for a reason. Try to see how the information I'm giving you is working with the pictures. So usually we scientists, we act like we are some kind of a robot, full of data and facts, and eager to present all the data and facts. So this is it. Depending on your audience, this might work, but for the general audience, this might have a completely different effect. So if your audience is sleeping through most of your presentation, that's not precisely a bad experience, but they won't get anything of your topic. So being asked, they might say, okay, yeah, your presentation was good, because they had a good sleep during it. But it's much more dangerous if, for instance, you see these two people here. They look very, very critically. These people will have a certain opinion of your presentation, and maybe not a favorable one. So there are very simple ways to create connection between the audience and you should make use of it plenty. So the next question then would be, if an interaction is needed, how can I touch my audience? How can I emotionally reach my audience? And that's the beauty of being a human. Emotions are mostly communicated through our faces. So when you look at this face, in milliseconds, you have a relation to this photo. And you have a relation to the emotion that is pictured on the picture, right? So here's someone really unhappy, very clearly. And you are instantly connecting to this picture. And the same is for this. So you see, it doesn't really matter what age the face has. It doesn't really matter what type of emotion you're communicating on it, as long as you are communicating an emotion. So this would be one way to emotionally connect your audience to your presentation. Another option would also be to, and the question is always, does it move me? The moment it moves you when you are creating the presentation, it is most likely to also move the audience when it is watching it. So that's a good indicator for you. Does this even work? So there's another way to induce connection, which could be fear. And suddenly everyone is awake, because no one counted on that in the presentation. And you have this element of surprise, and you can utilize that to connect it with an information. So in the end, the successful presentation then would have an audience that looks like this. So you have people laughing, you have people relating to your content, you have people that are friendly and that are in community with yourself while you are talking. But visual is not the only way to create a connection. Of course, you have also your language and what you're saying. And the way you are creating connection with language is manifold. So you could take the friend approach and say something like, you know, it's funny. I was thinking a lot about intelligence, and I was thinking about how the brain works and whether we can really study it. And I found this article. And by doing this kind of relational approach, you talk to the audience as if you know them intimately. And that immediately creates a connection. Also, if you want to do a more formal presentation and don't go for the friend strategy, you could take the storyteller approach, which goes like, do you remember the last time you were wondering about how the brain really works? It's such a marvel, and it's so not working like all other organs. And then instantly in this moment, you have your audience considering and thinking about your topic. And this is exactly what you want, because that creates connection. So the other approach, and even less retracted, less close. So we're going now from the friend is really close to the storyteller, which is a little bit far away. And the furthest away would be that you say something like, as we all have seen in this example, the difficulty seems to be that we cannot do research on something we think with. So in this moment, you are doing a trick. You just include everyone else in the room to see what you have seen. And you just state that for the audience, as we all have seen. That's totally different to our group has found this and that. That creates a separation between your group and all the rest, including your audience. So the better idea would be to verbally integrate everyone that is in the room. But to come back to what is most effective,